Welcome to the all new Richard Cooks podcast. I hope that today was magnificent. I hope that you were kind to yourself. I hope that you said nothing but great things about yourself and to yourself. If you haven't done so, click on that button below. If you could like, subscribe, and share this podcast with as many people as possible and let them know that the only frequency that we're vibing on is a positive frequency. Without further ado, if you haven't had the opportunity to do so, if you could look at the previous broadcast as we talked about the voices that we hear every day. There's a couple of voices that we have in our hearing every day. There's not a day that doesn't go by where we have the voice of others. Those voices are the voices or opinions that people have shared today and or in the past. And those are the voices that we hear when people have mentioned certain things about us, about how we would never amount to things, so on and so forth. Then we have the voice of ourself when we talk to ourselves, and we'll talk about that next week. We'll also talk about the week thereafter. We'll talk about the voice of God speaking to us. But today we're going to talk about the voice of the devil. The voice of the devil, because the devil talks to us as well. He speaks to us in a yelling format. The Bible says that he comes through as a roaring lion, seeking who he may devour. And so before we begin, we want to talk about or give a description of what the devil is and who the devil is. The first thing, the devil is the father of lies, which means that most times that when he's talking to you, he's lying to you. He's lying to you. He's very deceitful. He's cunning, manipulative. He's all of the bad things. And these are the voices. These are the voices that this is the voice that you'll hear. He's going to tell you what you are not, tell you who you are not, and then he'll tell you what you can't be. He's also an accuser, which means that he accuses you of doing things that perhaps you've never done. He exacerbates things in your hearing, which thereby will exacerbate things in your perspective on how you view things. He's also a tempter. He's the father of tempter. What happens is that he tempts us by putting things before us. Our temptations are always changing. Our temptations are always changing. Why? Because life just keeps evolving, and with that, our temptations will always change. We'll always be tempted by something. But what stands in between the temptation, which is, it's ever evolving, what stands in between us and that temptation is our desire. Our desire. He's also the father of misery. So where, growing up, my grandmother used to always say, misery loves company. Misery loves company. And so he wants you to join in as one of his imps, or he wants to stop you from being all that you can be. We're told the overarching umbrella of our conversation is the risk factor. The risk factor. And the reason I'm illuminating these voices in your mind so that you can pretty much know what's stopping you from being great, or what's stopping you from digging deep within yourself and being the great person that God created you to be. What's stopping you from writing that book? What's stopping you from opening up that job? What's stopping you from applying for that federal government or that top security clearance? What's stopping you from running from office? What's stopping you? What's stopping you from taking a risk? Taking a risk. And so what happens is that the object of the devil, when he speaks to you, it's to destroy you. Everything that God has deposited in you is his objective to withdraw from you, withdraw out of you. As in when you go to a bank. When you put the money in, God is making deposits in you. He's showing you how to be better. He's showing you how to grow. He's making you to be the person that you never imagined yourself to be. And it's the job of the devil to come by and make withdrawals. He's not going to withdraw just big amounts. No. He will withdraw little by little. He'll withdraw and to see how he can destroy you. That's the that's the objective of the devil, to see how he can destroy you. Whatever construction that God is building, he's there to demolish. You know, this past weekend I had played a game that I had never played before. It's called Jenga. So a friend of mine, my son was there. They put blocks on top of blocks on top of blocks, and it was the objective of each player to remove the block. And if at the removal of all, if you continue to remove the blocks, eventually the thing that was constructed had been demolished. And that's the devil. Every day he gets up, he'll whisper in your ear and tell you what you can't be today. Yeah. And piece by piece, he'll start poking holes in you, simply because he wants to see where you leak. And thereby, wherever you leak or wherever there's an open space, he tends to go in that open space and create an open wound. Yeah, an open wound. And by him creating an open wound, then you become an instant. You're already a target, but then you become confused. Where God is trying to uplift your spirits, it's at that time when he gets a hold of you. When you are listening to the voice of the devil, it's at that time that you become miserable and feel like you're not even worth anything. The voice of the devil. God doesn't, how do you differentiate? God doesn't scream at you or yell at you repetitively. No. It's the voice of the devil that will yell and scream and apply pressure to you. God doesn't have to apply pressure to you. Why? Because God is there to build you up, and he doesn't want to force you to do anything that you don't want to do. Whereas the devil, he's constantly yelling in your ear, creating confusion, making you feel like you're going to miss out on something if you don't do what he's whispering in your ear. He'll make you, he's the one that's always making you feel uncomfortable, creating chaos. So if you're hearing things that's creating confusion in your mind, making you wonder, should I or shouldn't I? And it's going to get you in some trouble, or you're going to break the law, 9 times out of 10, that's the voice of the devil, always whispering in your ear, creating some temptation. And you have to be mindful of this particular voice. As I said early on a couple of minutes ago, God isn't going to yell at you, but the devil will. He seeks to kill and destroy. And so if he can't come to you directly, he'll go to somebody else that will speak to you. He'll take one of his imps. He'll even try to use one of our children to disrupt our thoughts, to disrupt where we're trying to go, and thereby ultimately destroying. He tries to take away you piece by piece, create some kind of guilt, create some kind of shame. And he does it through temptation. He does it through making you feel ashamed. I remember years ago, years ago, and I'm giving you this example so that, so I can contemporize it so that you can understand where I'm going. Many, many years ago, I lost everything. Literally, I had $1.49 to my name. What happened was I told a friend of mine, he was into the marijuana business and cocaine business. And I was telling him, man, he was asking me how I was feeling. And I said, man, I'm just down and out. I'm not feeling, I'm broke. I don't have any money. I just lost my house. I was evicted, so on and so forth. Oh, he said, man, I can take care of that. That's no problem. Look, I need you. I have I got something going on, something brewing in Virginia and Richmond. I already have a mule. A mule is they call him a mule. A mule is a female which drug dealers use to travel with a male to go pick up a package. So it creates like a decoy. It looks like as if the boyfriend and girlfriend are driving down the highway. It's to throw a police officer off. So he said, look, Cook, he said, man, look, you can make $3,000 real fast in 3 hours. All you have to do is go with the mule down to Virginia, pick up the package, and bring it back. That's all you got to do in this $3,000. And if you do it a couple times for me, you'll be good to go. The temptation. I'm broke. $1.49 to my name. Right before that, I was at the gas station and I was at pump 6 and I didn't have any money to even put in my tank. The $1.49, I had it in coins. And so I take the coins out of, because I'm not a smoker, I took the money out of the coins that I had and I took it into the gas station. The gas attendant, I put it down there. I said, I want $1.49 on pump 6. The guy says, my friend, take that, go roll it up. I'm not counting all of those. He said, go roll it up and then come back. I didn't have enough because you need $10 worth of dimes. You need, you need a certain amount of nickels. You need a certain amount of pennies. You need a certain amount of quarters to create a roll. And I certainly didn't have that. And so I go to pump 6 and I'm feeling shameful because I didn't have the money. And I know I just had a big house that I was evicted from. The shame. The shame. Everybody knows I'm stylish. The shame. The shame. I'm feeling guilty because how can I have let this happen? I'm at pump 6 screaming to the top of my lungs, God, how can you let this happen? The temptation of my friend number was in my phone. The text, he said, call me. The temptation. Remember we talked about the temptation? The temptation is ever standing. I thought about the $3,000. Yeah. And I'm a Christian. 100% Christian. But that ran through my mind. The next day, I borrowed, $25 from my mom because at the time, Bank of America had a penalty if you fell below the kind of account that I had. I had an E account. If you fell below a certain amount, then there would be a penalty. So when I put the $25 into the account, the receipt came back $325. The temptation. So the devil was in my ear. I'm facing it on two fronts. The first front is I had my friend's voice echoing in my mind about the $3,000 temptation. The other voice of the shame is from the attendant on pump 6. Then I'm looking at a receipt that says $325. And I have the devil in my ear saying, it's not going to hurt you. That was from God. That $300 was from God. Go ahead and spend it. It's from the God. He is the father of lies. And sometimes the devil, he will make you look at something that seems factual when in essence it's not factual. And we know it's not factual. And we have to be careful of taking something and taking some kind of what looks to be evidence and looks to be factual, and we're adding support to it. Because you have to be careful to take something, and then what happens is that we want it to be true. And so we begin to add little facts or little meat to the skeleton. We're adding supporting cast members. Oh yeah, God, I do believe in God. God wouldn't leave me, nor would he forsake me. And he's bringing a blessing through. No, but had I spent that $300, the repercussions with Bank of America would have came and tried to seek their money back. So I called the Bank of America. Listen to this. I called Bank of America 10 minutes later. And I said, look, I put the $25 in and it came back $325. Y'all need to get this money out of my account. The customer service said, sir, I'm sorry. Is this really for real? Like you're really calling in and telling us that we messed up on your account? I said, yes. Even the customer service person didn't believe it. So it took them, it ended up being 3 months before they even took it out of my account. And so I had to look at this temptation, being broke, feeling less than, feeling unworthy. And the devil's voice is in my ear screaming, because he is the father of lies. You know God gave you that. You know it would only take you 3 hours to go down to Virginia for $3,000. And sometimes, my friend, you're going to have that voice coming at you where you want to open up that business and you know a shortcut to open that business. You want to go ahead and write that book, and you know there may be a little bit of plagiarism. You may have heard somebody else. You want to do that, and you don't want to take the risk of losing out on an opportunity to open the business, because it seems as if this business is going to boom right now. Or if I have if I go ahead and hurry up and write out the book, it'll sell millions, knowing that I may have plagiarized. No, that's not. No, that is the voice of the devil. Needless to say, I deleted my buddy's number out of my phone. Needless to say, Bank of America, I looked at that money. How do you overcome the voice of the devil? How do you overcome the voice of the devil? The first thing you have to do is we go back to what I said to you, as I said to you in the introduction. You recognize the voice of the devil is because he's always yelling. And you have to ask yourself, you have to take a minute to think about what you're thinking about. What do I mean by that? Is this voice accusing me and making me feel more shameful? Is this voice criticizing me for being stupid, for being dumb? Is this voice pressuring me to do something that I know that's wrong, but trying to create a possibility or trying to make me rethink whether it's wrong or not? That's the voice of the devil. And so when you have that voice of the devil, It's time that you use the power that has been given to you, and you have to rebuke that voice. How do I rebuke that voice? You have to stand still and push. You have the power to say, I rebuke you right now. If you're not a Christian, you still have that rebuking power. Devil, get away from me. You are not a part of where I'm trying to go. Leave me alone. And you have to write down these thoughts every day. I ask that you create a journal, because the journal will let you know the temptations that the devil is using daily, so that you can revisit these temptations, and you'll know how he's coming at you, and you'll know where things are disruptive in your life. The first thing is that how do you hear it? How do you overcome it? Is that you're going to use your power and say something to him. I rebuke you right now. I am an overcomer. I will do the right thing. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. You will not have any power over me, devil. Get out of my ear. I will stand firm and know that the things that I'm going to do, it may take longer, but it's the right thing to do. I may be broke right now, but if I continue to endure and doing the right thing, I know that on the other side of this right thing, there's a blessing, there's prosperity, and I don't have to look over my shoulder in taking this risk. I don't have to look over my shoulder to see whether or not somebody is going to come and take it away. Use your power. The second thing I said is that we begin to journal. In journaling, you're going to do three things. Before you begin to journal, you're going to write down at the top of your journal three things that you're grateful for. Three things that you're grateful for. After you write the three things you're grateful for, you're going to start off with something positive. My day was wonderful. I'm thankful that I had an opportunity to do XYZ. Yeah, you're thankful to be alive, but we need a little bit more depth. And then we're going to go into how you were tempted, how you were told a lie with it, or how the devil was trying to get in your ear and you overcame. And then you're going to say, tomorrow, you're going to do what you expect to do tomorrow. Yeah. We can't give ourselves any excuses, because if we let the devil in, if we listen to that voice, Henry Ford said, all you have to do is get a person's mind and their body will follow. So the devil will bring you, not only will he bring you lies, not only will he accuse you, not only will he bring you them to the temptation, but his overarching format to make you fall is through excuses. Excuses only benefit the person that's giving them. Are you following me? The story is told of the guy and his wife. The guy was in the kitchen. He was trying to learn to cook. And so, and learning how to cook, he burned he burned the fish. And burning the fish, he created a stink. So he wanted to hurry up and get rid of the smell before his wife came. He wanted to hurry up and get rid of the smell before his wife came. And so as a result of getting rid of that smell, he goes to the candle shop. I'm sorry, y'all. My son just walked in. He goes and he went to the the candle shop. At the candle shop, the owner of the candle shop was the devil. It was the devil. He noticed that there were several candles. There was a candle called joy. There was a candle called defeat. There was a candle called misery. There was a candle called drama. There was a candle called pain. But then he noticed this other candle over there. And that candle was called excuses. Now, all of the other candles were $15. But the candle called excuse was $200. So he goes to the front desk, the devil, and he said, how is it that all of these other candles cost the same, but this one particular candle called excuse was more than 10 times the amount of the other ones? He said, my friend, when I try to sell all the other ones, if they don't sell, excuses always sell. So that candle called excuse is always going to sell. And with us, excuses will always sell. That's why we fall into so many temptations, because we give ourselves the excuse to be tempted. Yeah. And so we have to be careful. We have to be careful on the voice that we hear. So the third thing is that in order to, and this is mundane, in order to overcome the voice of the devil, you have to be careful what you watch and what you listen to. Yeah. You have to be careful what you watch and listen to. And I'm going to close on this. Because the more you continue to look at trash, the reality shows that are not really reality, they're conjured up to make us think differently, or they're conjured up to create views. And so you have to be mindful of what you listen to on the radio, because the devil will use that to change your perception, to change your perspective on situations, to make you think that this could possibly be happening to me, and then you'll act on it. So he'll remind you of what you just looked at on TV, or what you just listened to, that there may be a possibility that my boyfriend may be cheating, or my girlfriend may be cheating, since so-and-so cheated. There may be a possibility that so-and-so tried to open up a business, and because they were unsuccessful in opening up a business, then perhaps I may be unsuccessful in opening up a business. So-and-so was on A&E, or so-and-so was on Bravo, and they went to get an operation and had to get a foot operation, and it was on Bravo or TLC. And so because I needed foot operation, but because their foot operation was unsuccessful, I'm not going to take the risk of getting the foot operation simply because, and I know I need the foot operation, but what if it happens to me? The devil will always come at you in all formats. So my friend, you have to turn off the TV. You have to turn off the radio and stop listening to junk. There are plenty of other things, some motivational things on YouTube. You can pull it up. You can pull up some motivation. Just type in the word motivation on YouTube. There's always an alternative. I remember many years ago when I grew up on the Guiding Light. And I'm going to close with this. I grew up on the Guiding Light, and my grandmother, we only had one TV growing up. And my grandmother would always used to look at Young and the Restless, Search for Tomorrow, Edge of Night, The Guiding Light. And so there was a particular character on there called Lou Jack. And Lou Jack was messing with Beth, who was Philip's girlfriend. And the way that Beth was maneuvering with Lou Jack, I was in a relationship, and I thought that my girlfriend was Beth. And so I started to accuse her of cheating simply because of what I was being fed, and the devil was in my ear talking about, she probably out there doing the same thing because it resembles the same actions, but they were not the same. And so thereby I lost a good relationship simply because I was looking at trash and listening to trash. I'm not saying disregard if you can. I am saying if you can disregard all trash, but I am saying that you have to take a step back and think about what you're thinking about. Let me close with this. Today we talked about the voice of the devil and how to overcome the voice of the devil. If this has blessed you in any way, shape, or form, please like that button, subscribe to the podcast, and share it. Understanding this, that you are a moving target. Why? Because you are a child of God. And anything that God is trying to build, the devil will always break down. You have to know that you are more than a conqueror, and that there's no weapon formed against you that shall ever prosper. So all of the lies that you've been told, all of the deceit that the devil is trying to tell you, they're all lies. Keep in mind that he's in your ear. He's the father of lies. He's the accuser. He's the father of temptation. And you, my friend, have to be willing to take the risk to do what's right, to do what's on your spirit, as long as it's going in the right direction. This is not any kind of medical diagnosis. I'm not prescribing anything. But you can use this of what I'm telling you as the basis on how to first start your life of taking risk and becoming better and not bitter. You are somebody. You were built to last. But the thing that you have to do is be able to recognize the devil's voice and get rid of it. Every time he comes, you rebuke it. Don't forget to journal. Most importantly, don't forget to turn off the trash. This is your day. I love you, but God loves you best.